are your coordinates? Which, this is the input, and this is the output. Notice that there's one input, there's one x. None of the x are the same, none of the domain. None of the inputs are what variable?
The first number.
Yeah, what variable is that? What variable is it?
X.
X. The input is what variable? X. I want you to tell each other what variable is the input.
X.
Okay? Boys, what variable is the input? Okay? No talk, no playing around. Okay, now, the input is the X, right? The output is the what variable is the output? Y. This is order pair of X, Y. Okay? Now, because there's only one output, there's one input to one output. Do you see your domain, the X? None of them is repeating, is it? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you know this stuff? Let's look at letter. This is called a function. This is a function because there's only one output. There's one input to one output. Because one input, there's only one answer. There's only one answer to one input, right? There's one because there's one input, one x. Input is what variable? 1x to 1 output. What variable is the output? Y. Because there's 1x to 1y. 1x to 1y. Look at letter number 3. Number 3. If you look at it, some of you had questions. Is it number 3?
Number 2.
Number 2. Number 2. That's what it was. It was 1, 4. Right? If you input 1, what will you get? A 4, right?
Yeah.
2, 6. And then 3. And then we have a problem. We put in 3, and then it also gets a 5. This is a problem. This is called a problem. You substitute in 3, and you get how many answers? How many outputs? 2. You can't have that. When you put in 1, you should only get 1 answer. You cannot get 2 answers. Do you understand? Because of this, when you substitute in 1 and you get 2 answers, it is not a function. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So this is called not a function. Because there's 2 answers, because there's 2y, because for every 1 input, because there's 2 y's or 2 answer. Answer is called what? Output. There's 2 output or 1 input. You got that? Yes. You do. You write it down. You still write the ordered pair down. And then the next ordered pair is 4, false, and the other one is 4, 6. So which two input resulted in 2 answers? 3 and 4. One input of 3 and 4. Okay? 2 output for 1 input of 3 and 4. When you put in 3, when you substitute in 3, how many answers did you get? 2. Do you understand what output means? Okay. Now on number 3. Number 3. Now your quick check. You have your name on it? Quick check. Quick check. Quiz. Yes. Sure, you write your name. Put your name. Period. And today's date. Which is 9/12. I want you to create a mapping. What are these called?
Mapping.
A mapping. Okay, I want you to create a mapping using different numbers than these. Okay, a mapping that is, create a mapping. You don't have to write this down. I'm going to write it. Create a mapping that is a function. Create a mapping that's a function. Do you know what a function mapping looks like? Okay? That's 1A, 1B. Create one that's a map. Create a mapping that's not a function. Okay, do that at this time. Use the 1 and 2 to help you. What's it? And explain.
So we're doing number 4 then?
No. Right now on lined sheet of paper. Because I just taught you what is a function and what is not a function. Okay, I want you to create a mapping that is a function and create a mapping that is not a function. Okay, and explain why. Explain why your mapping is not a, explain why. It is a function, then explain why it's not a function. No, you do it on a piece of paper because you're going to turn it in. It's going to be worth 8 points. You guys can use the example from what I just did. If you wrote it down, you were supposed to write it down with me. Anything I write down, you have to write down also. Shh, no talking. You need to use a different number than your neighbors. You all can create your own. Look at the example that's there. Do not use the numbers that's on numbers 1 and 2 and 3. Use your own numbers. Create your own numbers. Okay, look at the example to create your own numbers. Your log is due on Monday. function first. All right, hurry it up. You need to explain why it's a function and why it's not a function also after you make your graph. You cannot use any of the numbers in the example from the worksheet. Once again, you cannot use any of the numbers from the example in the worksheet. If it's not the same, it's fine. One more minute. Who needs more time? Okay, your table better not have the same answers either, because there's millions of numbers you can use.
Can we use like 100-digit numbers?
You can use any number you like. Make sure it's different from your neighbors. Okay, I'll go ahead and let you consult your neighbors to see if you're doing it right. Go ahead and consult your neighbors to see if you're doing it right.
Do the ordered pairs?
No, you don't. If it helps you, you can. But you don't have to. It helps some students and it doesn't help others. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 more minutes. After you can consult your neighbor to see if you're doing it right or not. Because they should have different numbers than you. Right? You guys should be doing, you can't be thinking of the same number.
Oh, we should. Oh, I have to explain one.
Okay, anyone's homework I did not check. Got your paper? Alright, your homework log. I'm having the material for second, right?
There. You're done.
Okay, got about a minute left. Guys. No one's absent. Everyone's here.
No, it's only for that class.
Good job. Good job over there. Okay, now. 30 seconds.
Well, Max, this getting harder. This is getting harder.
No, that's it. Okay, material person collects from everyone. Tyler can type your name on it. That was 16 minutes. You know, it took up 16 minutes. Now, I need you to turn to page.
Put them on your desk or something?
Yes, please. Put it in at your table to write the ordered pairs. Page 69, right after what we did yesterday. On page 69. Got it. I want you on number 3, A and B, to write the ordered pairs for those tables. Input represents what variable?
X.
X. The output represents what variable?
Y.
Y. Okay, can you write the ordered pair for them?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And then I want you to work with each other on figuring out which one is not a function. And why? Yeah. Yes. It's a set. So you don't use 10 minus 10.
And I forgot it today. And I put flavor in it. No, because I put water. I took it. I didn't do it. I just told it.
Okay. Both A and B, please. Both A and B. Which, yes. And tell me which one is a function and why. Okay, tell me which one is not a function and why. Which one is not a function? A or B? What? Fingers up if you say A is not a function. Fingers up if you say B is not a function. Look. 1, sorry, wrong direction. 1 for A is not a function. 2 for B is not a function. Which letter is not a function? A or B? Okay, excuse you. Most of you are correct. B is not a function in Sasha life. Why?
Yeah, because
There's 2 10s on the inputs, right? And what else? 2 20. Because in this case, the answer came out to be 10, and 20 became negative 10 and 10. It doesn't make sense, right? If you input 20, you should have only one answer to that. Or do you guys understand why it's not a function?
yes, now I get it.
Okay?
Thank you, Sasha.
Not a function because the input of 20 and 10 has how many outputs? How many outputs did they have? Have 2 outputs. You need to be able to explain like this. Okay? On why. Got it? Okay, let's go on to okay. Domain. I need you to understand the word domain and range. Stop. Okay. Domain definition. Shh. I want you to read the definition in your group. Group leader, read the definition of domain.
Domain of a function is a set of outputs.
Okay? Who after that can define? Who after this can define what a domain is? Domain of a function is a set of all inputs of a function. What is domain?
Function.
Is the input. I want you to underline the word domain and input. A domain is an input. So it's the same thing. So this here, if you look at this, this is an input. It's, what's another name for input? Domain. Domain is the same, are synonyms of input and the variable x. Range. I want you to read the range. Leader, read range. Girls back there, stop playing. Is leader, who's the leader? I don't, okay. What is your name again? Samantha, and what's your name? Oscar. From what Samantha read, Oscar, what do you think the range means? Set of numbers of what? Of all what? Output. Range is set, I want you to underline range is a set of all outputs. So this is the output, correct?
Correct.
Write this down, Tyler. You have a hard time participating every day. So I'm going to start taking points off for every time you don't write down. Okay? Because you're not participating. Okay? Tyler, I need you to write this down. Okay, output. Now the word that also means output is the word range. And what variable is that range? Got your name already. Manish. I don't know. Just go. Manish is right. It's the Y. Okay? Now, stop tapping the table. All of these range, output, Y is all means the same thing. Domain input, X, all are synonyms of each other. Do you understand? Yeah. Okay. So the mapping shows the domain. Domain is what variable?
X.
X. These are all the X. The range. I want you to tell each other what variable is the range. Tell each other. I need to hear you tell them. Sable, I don't hear you tell you. You need to write it down. Okay. I want you to bubble it. So you know, bubble it. Bubble, that's a thought bubble. Thought bubble. Thought bubble. Thought bubble.
It's a cloud.
It's a cloud. It's my thought bubble. When I see domain, when I see my domain, it's an X. I see a range, it's Y. Thought bubble. Okay. Now, is this, Tyler, is this mapping a function or not? doesn't understand.
Tyler, you better understand.
Because all of you understand, right? Tyler needs to understand.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna call different people at the table and you need to tell me why. Emily, is that a function or not? Why not? Huh? What out? For which one? Oh, never mind. Emily, is it a function or not? For that one. Emily needs to learn, otherwise you guys are gonna overlearn. Yes, okay, there's only one output for each input.
Yes.
Stop saying
Okay?
Well, what number matches?
No, I'm not sure. Yes or no?
Okay, oh my goodness, this one.
Okay. I just
You need to make sure I I'm sorry. Why not?
I said no. Listen.
Wait, I wanna see. No, wait,
You guys want to say I feel a little don't say nothing.
That's what I said.
well, I don't know if it is or not.
Don't tell you
What you
No, I believe you don't have at least
You have science. You have science. No.
Wait, what?
No, that's history.
Oh, I will like you scared me. Okay, guys. Look, Tyler, why is this a function? I want you to write the word function here, Tyler. For which one, the range or the domain? The domain. None of the domain went to the range twice. Again, they only went to one number, right? Look at the next one, right here. Shh. Here's the input. Here's the output. Is this a function? No. No. Shh. Not a function. Not a function. Shh. Why? Isaiah? Why is it not a function? Okay, your table owes me 5. Come on, I'm going to call another table. Everyone at their table knows the answer. You know what?
I know.
Okay, how about, what's your name? Alexis. Why is it not a function? Which input numbers prevent it to be a function? Which number? Which number here prevents it being a function? Which number? Okay, why? Because it has the answer 2 and 5. Do you understand why it cannot you can input a 5 and get a 7. That's okay. But you cannot put the same number and get 2 different answers. You can put, do you understand?
Yes.
Now, do you understand why it's not a function?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now I want you to state on number 4, let's state why it's not a function. Number 4, why is it not a function again? Not a function because the input 2, you need to tell me what type of number is 2. 2 is the input or the output?
Input.
Because the input of 2 has how many? 2 output, right? Or 2 answers. And we cannot have that. We can only have 1 answer. Any questions? Okay, what is the domain? Shh. I want you to give me the domain. And then they want the range. What is the domain here, Tyler? What is the domain? Domain is what their input or output. Okay, so give me all the numbers that is the input for domain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the range, Isaiah?
1, 3, 5. 1, 3,
1,
5, 7.
3, 5, and 7. Do you understand what a domain and range is?
Yes.
Okay.